We sat down again today with Hong Kong based powerlifter Alex Yim. We had the opportunity to chat to him yesterday, but the audio levels from Alex's side weren't that great given that he was in quite a noisy and busy environment. So we decided to continue the conversation this morning. So this is a great addition to yesterday's conversation with Alex. If you haven't yet seen yesterday's conversation, please go and check it out after this video. And we cover some topics from being at international competition, why powerlifting should be in the Olympics, the value of the sport in enhancing your life, productivity, and just all-round well-being. This is one for you if you're interested in the sport of powerlifting or just really enhancing your quality of life. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions, the powerlifting edition. So, Alex, where are you at the moment? It looks quite industrial and very cool.
I went back to my university actually, and
Okay.
then they got me a room for this interview. Yeah, so yeah, I kind of graduated now, so I don't go back to my university anymore. But it's fine.
It's okay,
It's
cool.
always good to be back here.
Awesome.
Yeah,
What did you study?
I actually have a major in history.
Okay, awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And then, what are your plans career-wise? What are you wanting to do?
So I'm very like I'm a person in a lot of aspects. I have a history major. I'm an athlete, but I'm
Yep.
actually into getting into accounting after graduation.
Okay.
So
That's,
it
I mean, that
sounds
that
weird,
makes
but
perfect sense. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, awesome. So, Alex Yim, thank you for coming back onto the podcast.
no
We
problem.
recorded
No,
yesterday. It was a little bit noisy. So, I think what we can do, Alex, for the format today is basically we'll work on just covering sort of everything again, and then we'll see if we unpack maybe some new stuff as well. So, thank you for joining us again. Awesome.
no problem.
Cool. And then give us a little bit of a rundown on you. Who is Alex? So you mentioned the history major, athlete. I mean, we spoke about basketball and your powerlifting. And then you mentioned now accountancy. Okay, cool. Accounting. It'll be good. So who is Alex?
My name is Alex Yim. Full name is Yim Kun Ho. I'm from Hong Kong, and I'm a 66 kilo powerlifter in Hong Kong. I've been competing almost a year, and but I've been doing powerlifting for a long time, so that's where I am. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And you had your first two internationals this year. The Varsity Cup at the Queen Elizabeth Arena or Stadium in Hong Kong. I think that was sort of around May, and then Austin, Texas. You just came back from World Champs. So tell us about those two competitions and what it was like competing internationally.
Those two competitions are great. They are definitely the best moments in my life for sure. The one in Asia, the one in Hong Kong, the Asian University Cup. Very fortunately, I got the second place in the competition, where I hit a total of 500.
That's
Uh,
so cool.
and then for the one in Texas is a one more than the Asian level, but it's a international level. And then I went to all the way to Texas. I spent almost a day on air, on the sky, and
Yeah.
then I went to Texas for the pro bench, and I got the sixth place for my bench press.
Okay, absolutely fantastic. You know, it's funny you talk about that's the the thing with competing in the sport. There's a lot of travel, and you don't have a lot of time to sort of rest and recover, and it can be quite exhausting as
Yeah,
well. And usually, with most athletes, they're funding their own way, so you're trying to go on the most cost effective flights. So those usually aren't the direct ones where you're flying
I
through
went to
different
direct
hubs.
flight. Yeah.
Yeah, going through different hubs. What was it? What was it like now being in Austin compared to Hong Kong with regards to the different athletes that were competing?
In terms of athletes, of course, the athletes are so different. In the one in Hong Kong, all of them are Asian level athletes. Um, Most of them came from the countries around us. Then, I can name India,
Mm-hmm.
Philippines, Kazakhstan, a lot of Japanese. Also, there are I have two major competitors who are from Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
So, but which is very, very different from those athletes I met. I've seen in the Austin, because those in Austin they're from all around the world, especially from the Western world, including
Yeah.
Europe and the America. Yeah, so the level is different. The international level, that one is definitely more competitive, and but at the same time you can also learn a lot more in the one in Texas. So I would say.
Right. I noticed that a lot of the athletes and in some of the commentary were surprised with some of the Japanese bench techniques, with the pause on the way down and then bringing it
Yeah.
down and up. And I see some of the athletes are sort of bringing that into their training now and testing that out. So it's a great way to learn. Were you able to pick up a lot of stuff from the other
Yeah.
athletes?
Yes, my trip to Texas is definitely the best experience for me trying to learn from other athletes as well. Um, I mean, in the venue, not only in the hotel we live in, but also in the competition venue in the university, I was surrounded by the best bench press athletes on earth, and you like it's so different from seeing those people benching on social media, but as compared to real life. And in real
Yes.
life, you can see how do they set up, how do they warm up, how like you can see like every like bit of muscle working in their body and see how they do their bench press. And I was so impressed by how professional they are in terms of this the technique, especially the technique. So I'll say this is definitely like a mind blowing experience.
So it was more beneficial for you almost in developing as an athlete than it was in just competing because of what you were exposed
Yeah,
to and what you were able to see.
exactly. Yeah.
So what would you tell young athletes about international competition? What are the reasons they should go? Exposure to top athletes, training techniques, warm up techniques, bench techniques are it's there. What else is there for them? Why
I
should
think that
one look to compete?
I think there are two kinds of international athletes. One, the first kind is that you're already competitive enough, right? So you want to go to international events and to get a prize or a medal there, or break some
Yes.
records. So of course, in that case, you should definitely go there to break the records and to get the prize for your country. But for other kinds of athletes, and it's also the majority of the athletes, they are not winners. What I mean, everybody's winners, right?
Yeah.
But they may think that, they may have a score that is not as high as the other people, and sometimes those people may think that, oh, I'm even when I get there, I'm not winning. So why would I get there?
Hmm.
But I wouldn't say this is. I would say that this is not correct because. mm, such a the international level competition is such a professional venue where you can see the best lifter on earth, where you can make connections, you can talk to them, you can talk to the best coaches or the best athlete on earth, and it is definitely a place where you get to learn different minds or get to learn different techniques by seeing people do their bench press, do their lifts, and it is way better than learning how to do powerlifting on social media, on YouTube, or reading books, or uh, uh, sending your coach videos. But
Hmm.
going to these international events really can ex- uh, um, let you see a lot of insights.
So it's far more valuable in developing as an athlete. And the
Yes.
athletes shouldn't. So they're going, well, I'm only going to come in 10th or 12th or 20th. What's the point in going? So what you're saying, the
Yeah.
point in going is what you're exposed to, what
Yep.
you'll learn, and how you'll grow as an athlete.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely
Those
right.
are important takeaways. Yeah.
100%. So we chatted a little bit, and that's a great description and a wonderful, wonderful reason. So yesterday we chatted a little bit about. I love your story with the coffee machine, and you seeing the what's it like being in the hotel, being in the venue, being around. You know, the venue, you're training, you're competing, you are, but at the hotel and at breakfast, everybody's eating breakfast like they would at home, or you know, may they're in these top athletes are in their natural environment.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It feels like it kind of feels like starting of a school day where everybody goes to that hotel or the venue and you start meeting new people, right? And it is so easy for you guys to get to meet new people and to introduce yourself and to build connections. And there are also I think I would say that the majority of the athletes there are very willing to get to know other athletes in other countries as well. So it's a great place for you to just walk up to another athlete uh, who was like doing other stuff right next to you, or making the coffee, or just waiting for the for waiting in line for the shuttle bus to the venue to talk to them and to build connections with them. In that competition in Texas, I got a lot of Instagrams accounts, but not only just getting the Instagram accounts, but also I built a lot of sincere connections. I uh, I still remember that I went to a shooting range in Texas with six of the Canadian guys. So
Right?
so it was unforgettable moment. Yeah.
How amazing are those Canadian lifters? They're really incredible. You know, you look at like Mimi, Frank, and Brian, and the rest of those guys. You know, they're such incredible athletes. They're so warm. They're so welcoming. So, who were some of the Canadian guys that you were with?
I met a lot of Canadian guys. There's one guy named Anson Chu.
Hmm.
He's in my group, the same junior 66 kilogram category. He's the champion. And then I met him. One lucky thing is that he actually also speak Cantonese, so we kind
Yes.
of we have like a close boundary with speaking the same Asian language. And then I get to learn a lot from him, like how I also get to learn like the way of life of him being a powerlifter in Canada. How do
Right.
they like what kind of people do they have in their own gym? How do they lift? How do they bond with each other? So I get to learn about a lot of lifestyle or like personal life of a lot of lifters. Yeah,
Right. You know, and the Canadians, they're big teams and they're big competitions. I mean, their regionals are like our national. You know, their regional comps are like our international
yeah,
regional competitions. I think we've got
yeah,
Asia, Africa, and Pacific coming up now. We're looking at just under 300 athletes coming through. You know, for in Canada, that's like a club comp.
yeah.
They got some fantastic stuff there. Oh, awesome. Anything else you'd like to share about your experience at Worlds, at World Bench?
Um, well, I have to think about it. Are there any specific areas? Um,
Yeah,
I would
what
say
was so
that.
we? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so
I
what
just
let's talk about the community. And you spoke
yeah,
about watching athletes train, and these are the best in the world. And how willing and open are they to share their techniques, to give you advice? You know, that's the one thing that we find with powerlifting, which is makes it unique in many ways, is how open and supportive the community is, where everyone in the community, even when you're competing against one another, you're talking about the Canadian athlete who you're competing against, he knows that you're chasing him, wanting to move from 6 to 1 to, you know, to take that title in the future, but he's willing to help you and support you, because the stronger that you get, the stronger he's going to have to get. And we all want to get
yeah,
stronger. Tell us about your experience about within the community at the international competitions.
The powerlifting community, one thing special is that we are not working the same goal, but we're actually working on our goals, which is like the same with each other. So um, we're not like a basketball team who wants to work on winning as a team, but we all know that we all do squats, we all do bench press, and we all encounter problems in these exercises, which is kind of universal. So everybody who does bench press actually have the same problem or same things that they have to solve.
Yeah.
And in this kind of situation, it is a great place for these communities to try, for us to try to come along and solve the problems together to try to figure out ways on how to solve our problems, how to improve our lives. And this is what makes it so special. And especially because powerlifting, as of now, is not like a popular sport out there. For example, I'm normally where the place where I train powerlifting is actually in my school gym. So
Okay.
we don't have like a lot of powerlifters in my school gym. So at most of the time, I work on myself. I don't get to know other powerlifter. But I at the same time I also assume that maybe some other powerlifters are also like that. I know one Canadian champion who works out in his own home, own house basement.
Hmm.
So when we get each other, we see another side of ourselves. We have the same problems. We have the same challenges to face. So that's why we it is so special for this. Like in this community, we get to group up together to figure out solutions to try to build of bound ourselves. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And it's a very, very special place to be. You know, there's the health aspects. We spoke yesterday about the vet. You started powerlifting for your basketball and
Yeah.
then fell in love. And I think that so many athletes have that access point into powerlifting where it's starting out with another sport and then, they're coming into powerlifting. How did you find powerlifting help your basketball?
I think strength training in general are necessary for a lot of sports out there. So let's say if you're a basketball player, you have to do some kind of squats to make your legs more stronger, and which makes you higher or move faster.
Hmm.
And this is also applicable in sports like a track and field or football or rugby or just swimming or cycling. And that's why I think all of us, like especially like all of us who participate in all kinds of sport, we all should do some level of powerlifting to strengthen our body. Even if we decide that we're not going to be a powerlifter, we all should be going to do powerlifting exercises. Yeah.
Absolutely. And even if you're not an athlete, as you get older, you want to maintain that strength, right? And, I think the
Yeah.
thing is, if you can play basketball in your 50s, 60s, and 70s, because you've supported that with powerlifting, your quality of life or whatever your chosen sport is will be much, much better. Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
How was the University Cup for you? What was the experience like with that? It was a very well organized and very well run competition. I mean, there was a great atmosphere. I had the honor of working with the South African spotting and loading team, and then also doing the commentary on the live stream. So I got to watch you lift. And how was that competition for you?
It was great. There's a big advantage for me because I'm from Hong Kong and the competition was held in Hong Kong, so I don't have to travel. I don't have to switch my hotel, or I don't have to spend 10 hours on a flight,
Yeah.
which makes me have a little bit advantage than the others. So very fortunately, I hit a total of 500, and I also had my deadlift PR in the competition as well. So I hit a 210 kilo deadlift PR, I was so sacrificed, um, so uh, sacrifice. Is it the word?
Satisfied?
Satisfied, yeah.
Satisfied. Yeah.
Satisfied with
Yeah.
my performance, and yeah, it was great.
Okay, fantastic. What did you think of the level where of the competition versus what you had sort of seen around in the gyms? Have you seen the level of lifting start to elevate amongst university students?
I would say that there's some like very big and strong people in my university. But here, I would say that in our university, going to the gym is not a big thing. A lot of people just do not go to the gym or do not exercises. That's why I wish that more and more people can start to go to the gym and start lifting. But I would say that there are quite a number of strong lifters in my gym who do not compete unfortunately,
Yet.
and I would yeah. So I'll say that I'll try to get them like some of my friends to compete in powerlifting, um, yeah, if they'd like to, and but it's always great that you are a part of this community. You get to know other people who lift
Mhm.
weights as well.
Right. So, what would you like to see happening within the Hong Kong powerlifting community? Where would you like to see it grow to? What would you like for the future?
Um, I would say that working out in general has started to become a phenomenon in the recent 5 years. Um, more and more people, guys and girls, are starting to sign up their gym membership and start to go to the gym consistently. And I would say that you started to see more big people on, on the streets or in public transport, then that's a good thing. Although I would say that most of the people who lift weights, they aspire to become a bodybuilder, but not a powerlifter. That's what something that we may not want to see, but we have to. I think we have to still. We still have to promote like how like the sport of powerlifting, of how good it is, how beneficial it is to the general community in here in Hong Kong. So I uh, I hope that more and more gyms can turn themselves into a powerlifting or more powerlifting friendly gyms, adding more standard Eleiko or other kinds of brands of the racks in their gym, so that they can benefit more people and to get more people into powerlifting as well.
Yes, absolutely. Would you consider moving into coaching down the line?
Yes, I have thought of being a powerlifting coach or just like a fitness coach in general. I don't have a concrete plan yet. I just graduated, but I think um, it would be great if I can help somebody out in their progress, no matter if they're just a common person who want to have a better lifestyle, who want to have
Yes.
a better, healthier body and lifestyle, um, or if they want to become a top athlete. It's always great to you know impact somebody's life positively. Yeah.
You know, and I think the lessons that you learn from competing in the gym, training by yourself, and then being exposed at international level, these are such wonderful lessons that you can share with other people to enhance and improve the quality of life. You know, I think the lessons we learn in powerlifting, we can carry through to every area of our life to help improve that quality. What have you learned? What has powerlifting taught you about yourself that you've been able to apply and use in other areas of your life?
It taught me a lot of skill set. The first thing is the mindset. Going to the gym needs a lot of hard work. Needs a lot of well. Most of the people do not go to the gym. Most of the people do not want to lift another set or another rep. But you have to tell yourself you have to do it. Like even if you don't want to do the hard things, you have to get the hard things done. And that's what we learn from doing powerlifting or doing lifting in general is that You start to get yourself to do the hard things that you have to do, which makes your life uh, better. And this also applies, this kind of resilience mindset also can be applied in other aspects of life as well. Let's say if you're a secondary school student here in Hong Kong, you have to go through the university entrance exams, and you don't want to open the book up to study, but you know that you have to. And this is like a powerlifting mindset you can apply to studying, to get you into study, or other aspect of life. You're gonna go to work, or if you wanna plan a travel, but you're lazy, you're procrastinating. But you know that because you're a powerlifter, you learned it from powerlifting. You got to do the hard work, and that is one way that powerlifting benefit us, is that to get ourselves being disciplined, to being able to do the hard work, to being able to get used to being uncomfort. That's the first
Yes.
thing. And second thing is that it gets you, mm, it makes you be conscious about optimizing your life in all aspects. So as a powerlifter, we like to optimize our big three lifts, right? Let's say you try to optimize your form on your squat, on your knees, or
Mm.
your arch when you bench, right? Or from the program itself, you want to optimize your program. You want to have a more systematic management of how you sleep, of recording how much water you're drinking a day, or how much protein you're taking in a day. Um, these are all measures that optimize every single aspect of your life. And when you became a powerlifter, or when you became a person who consistently go to the gym, you become a person that cares about yourself. So when you work in the corporate, or when you start working, you will say that, oh, I'm not working until too late today because I have to go to sleep, because I have to go to sleep to maintain my long-term sustainability of my work performance the next day. And that actually helps you in terms of your output, in terms of no matter if you're studying, you're a student, you're preparing for an exam, or you have already entered the workforce. You know that you have to optimize your life. You have to optimize this aspect of life. You have to optimize your sleep. You have to optimize your nutrition, and in general, these optimization helps improve your living standard to a very, very large extent. So these are the two major takeaways that everybody can benefit, or can get from powerlifting.
So, what I understand you saying is that the benefits, what you need to do to perform as a top power lifter, those things will also help you perform at a top level in life. So, your nutrition,
Exactly.
your sleep, your hydration, and also, very importantly, that you touched on managing and recording what's going on, knowing how much water you've drunk,
Yep.
knowing how much sleep you've got, knowing how much protein you've got in, measuring all of those things and recording them.
Yep. Exactly. I think um, mm, to know or to measure a particular aspect is the first way to manage the thing. Let's say fat loss. If you want to lose fat, or you want to reduce your weight, the first thing you have to do is to scale yourself every day and see the trend, or whether it's going up or going down, right? Or if you have problem with your sleep, the first thing you have to do is to get some records first. You have to record what time you're going to bed, or what time you wake up in the morning, and generate a total picture, or full picture of how many sleep you're getting on average uh, each day, or what is the average time you go to bed, or do you go to is there a lot of fluctuations in it, or I mean, so that's how you get to manage your life in general. So I'll say that, no matter for yourself, or more for your sleep, or for your hydration, nutrition, in all aspects of life. Even for your, like, let's say finance, you have
Mm,
to start counting how much money you're spending, so to manage your finance, so to keep track of uh, how much net worth you still have, right? So I would say that powerlifting is a good way to get yourself into managing your life, and to get your life into a very very structured pattern.
absolutely. And it's sometimes we try to do these things. You talk about managing finance or losing weight. It seems overwhelming, but when you have the experience and the background of powerlifting and recording your lifts, and because it's sometimes we don't want to manage our finances, but we have to.
Yeah.
But we always want to track what we're doing in our lifting because we want to lift more. So it's a great way to bring those skills across. So really well put. Um, what is next for you this year? What else is on the competition horizon? I think you mentioned something towards the end of the year.
Yeah, so my next competition is coming on it's on the December of 2024. By the end of the year, there will be the last chance I compete as a junior. So, the competition is in Uzbekistan, which is the Asian classic powerlifting full power. I'm gonna compete there, and I wish that I can get as much as possible there, and hopefully I can break some personal records and also Hong Kong records as well.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. How's the training going for that competition? I mean, we're still quite a way away, but you have a good idea of where you are.
Yeah, I just got back to training after the World Bench. Um, Training these days are not very intense. I'm doing light work in terms of my deadlifts, squat, bench for now. So to prepare for my upcoming sustainable development in the future, um, and also trying to set myself a very good foundation first. But at the same time, I'm trying to build more muscle as well. So there are a certain amount of accessories, like bodybuilding type of accessories, added to my program as well.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. Are you staying in the same weight category, or are you looking to move up?
As of now, I do not. I think I'm gonna stay in the same category. So
Right.
normally I weigh about 67 to 67.5 kilogram. So it's not like that far away from 66. So yeah, this year I'll still stay in 66.
Okay. How was the weight after the travel?
Actually, the travel makes my body a little bit weaker. So sleeping,
Hmm.
hydration, and nutrition are not like that optimized during my travel. So but it is only in the short run, right? It's just like a week, so it's fine to have that level of not being able to meet like the optimization level. Like since I got back here to Hong Kong, everything's fine. Everything works for me. Go back to the sleep, the nutrition that you used to have before the competition, and I'm very positive that um it's gonna go well. Yeah.
So there wasn't a problem with weight gain too much with the travel. Some athletes can pick up 3, 4, 5 kilos of fluid retention with travel, and as you said, the sleep. You bloat. You're not getting in the fluid. You got very salty airline food, and suddenly they're landing at the venue, going and testing themselves on the scale, and they're like, you got,
Yeah.
that's why it's always important to arrive a few days before you lift because you have to get your weight down and make that. That's what I love about being in the 105 category, but it's not a problem. I've got a nice range. And the beautiful
Yeah.
thing with powerlifting, Alex, you can just keep going up. So
Yeah.
105,
Yeah.
120, 120 plus. That's
Yeah.
for me, that's my favorite thing. Is
Yeah.
there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Wow. I would say I really hope that the general community, not only here in Hong Kong but also worldwide, can and should pay more attention to powerlifting because it's just such a wonderful sport to participate in and such a wonderful sport to play or to see. And it gets you a lot of benefit. When you participate in it, it optimizes your life. It makes you a stronger person. It makes you a better version than yourself yet, as compared to yourself yesterday. So no matter if you are like a social media user, you should follow more powerlifting accounts. You should share more about powerlifting contents. Or if you're like a manager in a news media company, you should definitely consider reporting more about powerlifting or promoting or start to interview more high level like record holding powerlifters out there because they can motivate the general public to go to do this thing to help themselves out. Yeah.
And I think if people are in the press, as you just mentioned, with editors and so, they should come and try it out because you don't
Yeah.
have to be at any level of fitness or strength or ability, to compete in powerlifting. You just need to, whether it's just moving the bar or even a broomstick, you can get an understanding where maybe you come in and you bench a broomstick, and after 2 weeks you're now benching the bar, that
Yeah.
value, and you start to understand that. And we all look at Mr. Pock, and he's our hero to see. He's in his 80s, and how he's
Yeah.
running around all day with a competition. He's taking photos for the social media. He's working hard in the back to help out with the comp and keep things going. And then he's coming to lift. And the same with Dr. Ip as well. They're lifting and they're competing, and it's a wonderful thing to see. So people definitely do need to just come and try it. And the more exposure it gets, absolutely. Our dream, the whole powerlifting community worldwide, we dream of getting our sport into the Olympics.
Yeah.
And what
Exactly.
what what would that mean to you?
That means, well, first thing is it's definitely great that if it gets into the Olympics, it means that I'm gonna have a chance to represent Hong Kong to go to the Olympics, which is like such
Like,
wonderful dream.
yeah,
That yeah, that's gonna be my going. But yeah, it will definitely get the if it is added to the Olympics, it's definitely gonna make this sport more competitive as it is before because more people want to become a member or become an athlete in the Olympics by participating in this sport. So that is a definitely a good thing for the community because when more competitive more athletes join the competition, it makes the level of competition go up.
yes.
So that's definitely a good thing for the general community to have. Yeah.
So, Alex, if you were to speak to the organizers of the Olympics, what would you say to them as to why they should get powerlifting in the Olympics? Why should they bring in powerlifting?
So powerlifting is definitely one of the most popular sport these days. Although it's not a sport, especially for like very young age people to participate in. So you don't normally see people under the age of 10 going to the gym lift weights, right? But we have been seeing, and there are more and more people, especially if they have former exercise experience from track and field, swimming, or cycling, basketball, they are getting into powerlifting. And now, most of our youngsters, I would say, as compared to people in the older generation, they have heard of powerlifting. And it's definitely a sport that is gaining its popularity, and at the same time, it's actually a sport that has a very low entry requirement. All you need is just it's just a gym membership. That's it. And
Right.
you have a bar. You have a place. That's it. You can start lifting. You don't need like ice hockey. You don't need a stick. You don't need a whole bunch of a helmet. Um, or
You don't need an
even for
ice
basketball.
rink, yeah, that's it. You don't need a basketball court. You don't need a soccer field.
Yeah. Yeah. And the gym is just like a playground for adults or for not for children, not for like 5-year-old children, but for anybody older than like 12 or 13 years old. And that is like the gym is definitely the best community to have, where you had a lot of fun, you mix a lot of friends, you get to talk to people there, and that's why powerlifting is definitely a sport that has been growing its popularity. And when when it is a future trend, and when it is going gaining popularity, it's definitely should be added to the Olympics, right? So yeah,
Absolutely.
that is that is how I would convince the organizer of the Olympic to start considering about this sport being added into the Olympic.
You know, you've made such good points there where what we've spoken about earlier, it enhances the quality of everybody's life who participates in it. And it's fun. And there's a low entry cost or low barrier to entry because all you need is a gym membership. So it's accessible to so many people. And I think that's really what the Olympics are about, right? You don't need a swimming pool. You don't need a track. You don't need any of these big things. So particularly, for example, an area like Hong Kong, where it's so densely populated, space is so expensive. You know, you can have 10 people training on one rack. And for
Yeah,
their training session, you know, you can get that going quickly. Right, guys, we're all squatting today. Adjust the rack height and you run it just like a competition. The same with the bench and the deadlift. So a coach with two racks could train 20 people in an hour effectively and safely. And I think that's such an incredible thing about the sport. Oh,
yeah.
fantastic. Alex, is there anything else you'd like to share before we end?
Wow, I really appreciate this chance for getting into the interview. Um, well, I also really appreciate your effort on running this broadcast. I can see there's definitely a big chance for this podcast to grow in the future. So good quality broadcast. I need it today. So keep
Awesome.
going,
Yeah.
keep working on it. You're gonna have the same level of success as your bodybuilding and as your powerlifting. I'm sorry,
No,
as your
that's fine.
powerlifting,
Yeah.
as your broadcast. So, and I also really, I would say that this is like definitely a recommended channel for all the lifters, all the powerlifters, no matter uh, all the powerlifters and bodybuilders or weightlifters, all the people who go to the gym to listen to, because you get to learn about the minds of other athletes, and you get to learn about powerlifting as well.
Thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you to say, Alex. We appreciate that. You know, the reason that we started this, and we started this at World, I think it was World Bench 2 years ago, or last year, World Bench. And it's just about to give the athletes exposure. So, because there's a big cost involved, and the more people that become aware of the sport, the bigger the opportunity there is for athletes to get sponsorship. Athletes can use this platform to tell the world who they are. We had a South African athlete that we spoke to, Astrid, and we did a podcast, an interview with her, and she messaged me a few hours later to say one of her clients had seen the interview and they offered to sponsor her to go to Lithuania now. So it's working,
That's
and
great.
you know, and that's what we want to do. It's giving exposure to who the athlete is, not just about the lifting and the competition, but to show the world who the different athletes are, that they're people that different sponsors can identify certain things with them, and then also to give the athlete the opportunity, like here's content that you can use on your social media. So you know, that's it, and we're very grateful that you came through and that you've given us your time. It means a lot, and
That's
twice,
great.
you know, twice we really appreciate
No
that
problem.
as well. Right.
I also really appreciate your time, so but it's definitely my pleasure to get to for you to having me on this podcast. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I'm going to end it and then I'll chat to you. We'll chat to you now quickly. Thank you, Alex.
Thank